Good afternoon, my dear students. Welcome back to computer class. So today we'll continue the review of C++. Yesterday we have discussed operators, arrays, and functions. So today we will continue control statements. The control statements are statements which will alter, which will change the sequence of flow of instructions, how the instructions are executed. The direction of flow of instruction execution is changed, altered by these control statements. So these control statements are basically in C++, there are two types of control statements. Types of control statements. So we have two types of control statements. One is selection statement. Second one is iteration statement. Selection statements. The second one is iteration statements. These are also called iteration statements, also called looping statements. Looping statements. The first one is selection statement. We have different types of selection statement. Already you studied in first year. To revise it once again, first one is if statement, if else statement, that's if statement, if else if statement, and switch statement. These are the 5 types of selection statements available in C++. The different selection statements are 1, first one is if statement. Second one is if else statement. Third one is nested if statement. Fourth one is if else if statement. If else if statement. Fifth one is switch statement. These are the 5 different selection statements. If statement is a selection statement. It's also called as one-way statement. It contains a test condition. If test condition is true, then statements in the if block are executed. If test condition is false, then statements outside the if blocks are executed. The syntax for if statement is, the general syntax for if statement is, if test condition statements. So this is a general syntax for if statement. So when the control comes here testing takes place. If test condition is true, then the control goes inside the if block. Then statements inside the if block are executed. If test condition is false, the controls comes out of if block. So next statement here, next statement is executed. Right? So here it checks the test condition. If test condition is true, control comes inside. Then statements inside the if block are executed. Then it goes to next step. If test condition is false, control goes out of if block. Directly it comes here. It goes to next step. Right? Okay. The block diagram for this is block diagram. Test condition. If test condition is true, statements are executed. It's false. So it goes to next statement. Here, test condition is tested. If test condition is true, then it comes inside the if block. Then statements inside the if block are executed. Then it goes to next statement. If test condition is false, it goes to out of if block. Then it goes to next statement. Right? This is the block diagram for if statement. The second selection statement is the second selection statement is if else statement. If else statement. So this is also called two-way branching statement. Because it has two ways, so it contains two blocks. If else statement contains two blocks, block 1, block 2. Here also, it checks the test condition. If test condition is true, then statements in the block 1 are executed. If test condition is false, then statements in the second block are executed. That is, alternate block is executed. The syntax for this if-else statement is if test condition if test condition is true, then statements are executed. Else, it contains the else part. If test condition is false, then statements in the else part are executed. Right? So here, test condition is tested. If test condition is true, statements in this block are executed. If test condition is false, it goes to if part, else part. The statements in the else block are executed. Then afterwards it goes to next step. The block diagram for this if-else statement is here, control comes here. Here, testing of test condition takes place. Test condition. If test condition is true, then statements in this block are executed. Statements here. Statement 1, that's the statement 10. So if it is false, if test condition is false, then here statements in false block. So this block belongs to false. So statements in the false block are executed. Okay. Then afterwards, it goes to next statement. Okay. Look here. If-else statement, it contains test condition and two blocks. Here, checking of test condition takes place. If test condition is true, then statements in the true block are executed. Then it goes to next step. If test condition is false, then statements in this block are executed. Then after it goes to next step. As it has two branches, two ways. This is one way, this is another way. So it's called two-way branching statement. In if-else statement, it has only one branch, only one way. So it's called one-way branching statement. This is called two-way branching statement because it has two branches, right? The next selection statement is nested if statement. The third selection statement is nested if statement. Nested if statement. As the name indicates, nest one within the another. Here in nested if statement, one if statement is defined within another if statement. So it's called as nested if statement. It contains two test conditions. So one is outer if statement. The test condition for outer if statement. If test condition is true, it comes inside the if statement. Then inside one more if statement, there also checking takes place. That is second level of testing. You can see here the syntax for syntax is if test condition okay, if test condition is true, then control comes inside the if block. In second level of testing, here again test condition if test condition. If this test condition is true, then statements in this block are executed. Statement 1. Statement 2. That's just statement 10. We can have any number of statements in here. Then this, close this, then close this. So when the control comes here, test condition is tested. If test condition is true, comes inside. Then second level of test condition is tested. That is, if statement within this if statement, the test condition for inner if statement is tested. If this test condition is true, the statements inside the loop are executed, inside the block are executed. Right? Then it goes to next statement. If this test condition is true, if this test condition is false, these statements are skipped. It goes out of inner if block and goes to next statement. Right? Is it clear? So to repeat it once again. First, when the control comes here, it checks the test condition. If test condition is true, the control comes inside the if block. Again, here, second level test condition is tested. If this test condition is true, then statements in this if block are executed. Then it goes to next statement. Right? Okay. When the control comes here, if test condition is true, it comes inside. If it is false, directly it goes out of if block. Right? If it is true, comes inside. If this test condition is false, it goes here. These statements are skipped. It goes to next statement. So this is nested if statement. The block diagram for this nested if statement is block diagram. First comes here. Else condition, if test condition, if this test condition is true, test condition is true, one more test condition. If test condition if it is true, then statements are executed. If it is false, if it is the statement, if test condition is false, directly goes to out of if block, goes to next statement. If it is false, again it comes here. Okay, it goes to next statement. Of course, it goes to next statement. Here, test condition is tested. If it is true, once again test condition is tested. Test condition part in the if block. If this question is true, then statements are executed. If this test condition is false, it goes out here. It goes to next statement. If test condition is false in the beginning itself, here itself, if test condition is false, the control goes to next statement. Directly it goes to out of if not, it goes to next statement. So this is nested if statement. Is it clear? The next selection thing is if-else if ladder. The next selection statement is, that is, the fourth one is if, else if statement. If, else if statement. It contains multiple test conditions. Test condition 1, test condition 2, test condition 3, dash dash dash, test condition n. We can have n number of test conditions. It contains multiple test conditions. If first test condition is true, then statements in the first block are executed. If it is false, the control goes to next test condition. If next test condition is true, then statements in that block are executed. If second test condition is false, control goes to third test condition. If third test condition is true, then statements in the third block are executed. So this process is checking of test conditions continue. At the end, if there is none of the test conditions is true, then default statement is executed. Right? You can see here, you can see the syntax. If condition, else if test condition, statements, else if test condition, statements, else if dash 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 test condition, statements here. If it is false, the default statement is executed. At the end, if this test condition is true, statements are executed. Else, if it goes to next one, if this test condition is true, then statements in this blocks are executed. So it goes on checking. At the end, last test condition. If this test condition is true, then statements in this block are executed. Else, default statement is executed. And default statement is executed. I'll write it once again. So you can see the block diagram here. If else if statement, if test condition, if it is true, then statements in this are executed. Statements are executed. If it is false, second test condition. If test condition, then statements in this block are executed. Let's see statements in this block. If it is false, that just it goes to next test condition L. Again here test condition. Okay, if it is true, then statements in this block are executed. If this test condition is false, then default statement is executed. Default statement. So here, after executing, it goes to next statement, next statement, next statement. Here, after executing, it goes to next statement. Next statement. Okay, look here. First, when the control comes here, it tests the test condition. If test condition is true, then statements in this block are executed. Then it goes to next statement. If test condition is false, it goes to second test condition. Here test condition is tested. If second test condition is true, then statements in this block are executed. Then it goes to next statement. If this test condition is false, it goes to next test condition. Then if it is false, it goes to next test condition. So this process is continued until the nth test condition. If nth test condition is true, then statements in the nth block are executed. If the test condition in the nth block is false, then default statement is executed. Then it goes to next statement. Clear? So this is if else if statement. Okay. So then the last one is, fifth one is switch statement. Switch statement. It's called multi-way branching statement. Switch statement or multiple branching statements. Branching, multiple branch statement. So this contains many ways, many branches, multiple branches. So actually, switch statement contains an expression and a menu, that is list of options. It contains an expression, it contains a menu or list of options. This expression is evaluated. The value of the expression is compared with the case labels. If value of an expression is matched with the value of case label, then statements in that block are executed. If value of an expression doesn't match with any of the case labels, then default statement is executed. Right? So switch statement, it contains an expression. It contains an expression and case labels. It contains an expression and case labels. The expression is evaluated. Expression is evaluated. Value of the expression is compared with the case labels. If value of expression matches with the value of case label, then statements in that block are executed. Then the value of expression is compared with second case label, third case label. Wherever the match is found, the statements in that block are executed. Here, an expression, case labels, case label 1, case label 2, case label 3. So you have n number of case labels. The value of expression is compared with the first case level. If value of expression matches with the case level 1, then statements in the level case level 1 block are executed. If value of expression is matched with the case level 2, then statement in the second block, case level 2 block are executed. If value of expression, if the value of expression is matched with the case level 3, then statements in the case level 3 block are executed. So this comparison continued until the last case level. If there is no match between the value of the expression and case level, then default statement is executed. You can see the syntax for this. Switch syntax. Switch expression. Open this case level 1 colon statements break. Case level 2 statements break. So case level N statement N statements break. Then default statement. Here, even the default statement. Then break. Then close the. So here, first what we do, an expression contains an expression. The value of this expression is evaluated. This expression is evaluated. The value of this expression is compared with case level 1. If value expression is matched with case level 1, then statements are executed and the execution breaks. Then, if there is no match between the value of this expression and case level 1, then it goes to second one. Value of expression is compared with case level 2. If there is a match, then statements in the case level 2 are executed, then execution breaks. Then, if there is no match between case level 2, there is no match between case level 1 and case level 2, then it goes to case level 3. If there is a match between the value of this expression and case level 3, then statements in this block are executed. If there is no match between the value of this expression and all the case levels, then default statement is executed and it breaks. Okay? So block diagram for this is later. You can see here. Expression. Level. Statements. Here's level 2. Statements. Dash. Union. Statements. Then default. Default statement. Then it goes to next statement. Right? Here, first expression. This expression is evaluated, and its value is compared with the value of case level 1. If there is a match between value of this expression and case level 1, then statement these are executed, and it goes to next step. Execution breaks here, it goes to next step. If there is no match, then the value of this expression is compared with the second level, level 2, case level 2. If there is a match between value of this expression and case level 2, then these statements are executed and it breaks. It goes to next statement. Then similarly, compared with all the case levels, at the end, case level n. If there is no match in all these case levels, it compares to last case level, that is case level n. If there is a match between the value of this expression and case level n, then statement is not executed, then it goes to next statement. If there is no match between the value of this expression and all the case levels, then default statement is executed and execution breaks. Then it goes to next statement. Clear? So these are the 5 selection statements. First one is if statement, if else statement, nested if statement, if else if statement, switch statements. So these statements plays very important role in writing program, particularly arrays. In your way, all these control statements are very important. In all the programs, control statements plays very important role in writing code. Okay, the next control statements are Second type of control statements, as I told you, two types of control statements. One is selection statement, second one is iteration statement. Iteration refers to execution of statements repeatedly, looping. Looping statements are also called as iteration statements. So we have three types of iteration statements: while loop, do while loop, and for loop. So iteration statements. Iteration statements. Iteration statements are one. They're also called looping statements. Looping statements. The first one is while statement. Second one is do while statement. Third one is for statement. Okay. So we'll discuss one by one. First one is, we'll discuss the first one, that is while statement. While statement is called entry control statement because it checks the test condition at the beginning of the loop. If test condition is true, then control goes inside the while loop and statements inside the while loop are executed. If test condition is false, then control skips the statements in the while block, it goes to next statement. As checking of test condition takes place in the beginning, at the beginning of the loop, so it's called entry control loop. While loop is called entry control loop. Because test condition is tested. Test condition is tested at the beginning of the loop. Beginning of the loop. If test condition is true, then statements in the while block are executed. Otherwise, it goes out of the block. If test condition is true, then statements in the while block not executed. If test condition is false, if test condition is false, control goes out of while. Test condition is false, control goes out of while controls. Out of while block. Okay. Because of test condition, it is called entry control loop. You like the syntax for this? Syntax for while statement. While test condition statements let's just statement in so here when the control comes here, it checks the test condition. If test condition is true, then these statements are executed. After executing, it goes to next statement. Right. If this test condition is false, it goes out of while block. Then it goes to next statement. It executes next statement. If this condition is true, then statements in the while block are executed. If this condition is false, it skips these statements. It goes to next. The block diagram of this is the block diagram. Here control while test condition here statements true. Statement 1. Statement 2. That's just statement 10.